Hi, I'm Robert Dutt for ChannelBuzz.ca, joined today by Alex Ryals, Vice President of Security and Networking at Avnet Technology Solutions. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Rob. I'm excited to be here.
Wanted to take some time to talk through what's going on in the security and networking business for you and at Avnet. And first of all, there have been some changes kind of in the go-to-market over at Avnet. Can you walk us through those and how that impacts the group that you now run?
Absolutely. There have been some changes. So the turn of our fiscal year was last month,
Yeah.
and we have continued an investment in what we're calling specialist business units.
Mm-hmm.
So a little over a year ago, we put together 6 solution practices in what I think of as high growth areas of the market or emerging areas of the market, like cloud computing, security, mobility, big data analytics. So for these types of areas, we moved resources from around our company, from our services business into these solution practices last year and built material to help our partners learn how to go to market in more of a software motion instead of just a hardware motion. Last month, we accelerated that investment by moving even more resources from around Avnet into these specialist business units. There are 6 of them, and the idea is to group like-minded specialists in security and networking. That's my part of the group that I manage, cloud computing specialist business unit, mobility. We have a big data analytics slash Internet of Things specialist business unit. Education is a group that we moved over from our Avnet services team a few months ago into a new specialist business unit. I'm very excited about the education team. We sell training credits to end customers through partners that allow end customers to take product training from many of our key suppliers like HP, Microsoft, Red Hat, and many, many others. And the last specialist business unit is data center. Think of that as Avnet's historical hardware business, so server, storage, networking, virtualization. That makes up a lot of Avnet's revenue today. So these 6 specialist business units are about helping our partners focus in higher margin areas of the industry this year through training and enablement, providing specialists to our partner that can help them with demos and customer conversations. We're very excited about the new model.
All right, and those business units are global in nature, is my understanding. How does that work on the local Canadian front?
Great question. So these specialist business units absolutely were rolled out at a global basis. So equal in the Americas and EMEA and Asia Pacific. In the Americas, everything we're doing is equally applicable in both the US and Canada. So a great example of that is over the past year, our solution practices, now SBUs, have invested in building enablement and content material for partners to leverage in conversations with our customer. We rolled out what we call a knowledge network. Think of that as a social platform. It's a way for Avnet to communicate with our channel in a social way by providing videos and blog articles, and we've provided sales battle cards and solution plays, and we've seen a great adoption in Canada specifically among our partners in leveraging this content as they go to market with their end customers. We also have dedicated resources in Canada now that focus specifically in the security and networking SBU that I manage, and I'm excited about those resources and some of the work they're already doing with our channel.
All right, great. Let's drill down a little bit on the space that you're running, in particular, networking and security. Can you, on one hand, sort of a very stable space in networking, although evolving, and on one hand, radical change pretty much all the time in security. Can you walk us through what you're seeing as some of the key issues and trends there, and kind of what you guys are thinking about it and what your partners are thinking about them?
Sure. There's certainly always a lot of issues to pick from, aren't there, Rob?
Always.
I think of 3 that come to mind. So cloud security is an interesting topic. I think some of our partners are struggling with the fact that many of them have sold security in the past in more of a perpetual license motion. And now with the cloud, we're seeing new models like consumption-based security solutions, subscription-based security. Think about a partner who historically might sell a $200,000 deal to an end customer with a perpetual license, and they recognize all that money up front. Now, with a cloud security solution, they're having to spread that recognition out over 12, 24 months. It's a different model. You need to think about cash flow differently. And so Avnet's putting together programs that we have today to help customers, our partners, understand how to maybe transform from the old model of selling licenses to these new cloud security models. Another area that comes to mind that's an issue or a challenge in the market that our partners are facing is security talent. I read an article the other day that says that I believe this year and next year there's expected to be almost 1 million unfilled security jobs globally. In America, in U.S. and Canada specifically, almost 250,000 jobs that are unfilled in security. And so I hear our partners often tell me they're struggling to find resources that are qualified, that know how to talk about security offerings. And so Avnet is doing sales and enablement training for our partners to help bring along their sales teams in understanding the language of security. We're also partnering with some external third-party groups and universities who have cybersecurity programs that we can leverage, such as internship programs and that sort of thing, to help and enable our partners with resources they're going to need to sell in the security space. The third area that comes to mind, it's a bit of a challenge, is managed security services. There are many managed security services companies out there, and our partners sometimes are struggling with picking who should I work with, and are they going to be a threat competitive wise in terms of account control? And so Avnet has made a decision to launch a security managed service offering through our partners. I'm very excited about it. We're working hard on it. We'll be launching it next quarter, and the goal there is simply to raise the margin profile of a security deal for our partners. They can sell a Checkpoint firewall or a Cisco Firepower, and when they add a high margin managed service to that, then it raises that profile. And so we've received some excellent response from our partners on the program.
All right, great. I think that answer kind of touched on this in some regards, but I'm curious to get your overall view. What's the pitch you give partners? Why work with Avnet in particular in this space? What's the secret sauce that you're bringing to the table?
Lots of secret sauce. So I think there's a number of things that Avnet's doing right now that are unique and very differentiating for our partners specifically. For one, when we build the security and networking SBU, which has been underway for about a year now, and I'm excited about all the resources that we've added recently to our group to grow and expand and help our partners. We are going to market in a vertical way. One of the things we've learned over the last 6 years in our vertical practices is that when you provide a partner with a little bit of focus and direction in one type of customer and train them on the language of a vertical, they're much more effective. So a great example is in healthcare. We have built many, many healthcare partners over the last several years in programs like our Health Path. So we bring partner sales teams into Phoenix, and they spend a week in a hospital environment learning the language of healthcare and working with the CIO of the hospital and clinicians and radiologists. We're doing a similar thing around security where we can train and enable a partner on the language of security. It builds credibility and it helps the partner close deals. So we have a sales training program. In fact, we ran one last week for a partner that went really well. So we're excited about that. We'll be expanding the type and the type of security sales training that we offer this year to cover more topics. I would say that technical training is also another huge part of our focus in security. Our Avnet Academy, our education specialist business unit I mentioned earlier, we have many security training capabilities in there for our partners to consume themselves and sell to their end customers. Industry security training is a great example. We also have some security training from key suppliers like HP, IBM, Microsoft, Cisco, etc. Another area that I think is a big benefit for us is in the Avnet Cloud Marketplace. So you're aware of this, Rob. We've talked about this before. Think of this as the ability to provide a digital tool for our channel. Partners can white label a storefront of their own and sell not only Avnet line card products like Alert Logic, which is a great security cloud solution that we sell through our marketplace. The partners can add their own products or services capability to that storefront and sell those in a digital motion in a subscription or consumption way. So digital tools are a big focus for the SBUs, not just mine, but all of our SBUs. And lastly, I would say security assessments. So Avnet offers a tool that partners can leverage to sell more product and their own services offerings. So we leverage assessments to point out vulnerabilities in our end customers, because the best way to sell a security product to a customer is to show them where they're weak in their architecture. They're almost compelled to do something about it. So our assessments have been received really well from our channel.
All right, brilliant. You touched earlier on the fact that this is the beginning of a new fiscal for you. What are you seeing as sort of the hot spots, the growth areas in the market that you're going to be focused on in this fiscal, as well as what can partners, aside from the things you've already touched on, expect from Avnet in the security and networking space over the course of this new year?
A great question. There's a number of things that I think are my high priorities for this year that I'm very excited about in the security and networking SBU. For one, we're focusing in five primary areas of security this year. So when I think of new supplier line card we bring on, or I think about sales plays we run, I'm focusing on identity and access management, huge and growing area. Security intelligence, think of SIM solutions when you think of behavioral analytics and security intelligence. Endpoint security, so security of those laptops and tablets and mobile devices. Perimeter security, this is traditional firewall, IPS type solutions. And then data and application security is the fifth area that we're going to spend a lot of time focusing on for our channel. IDC defines 38 areas of security, and I think that sometimes that's too broad for our partners to think about. They don't know where to focus, and so those five areas are where we're going to focus. The managed security service offering I talked about earlier is also another huge priority for us, and I think will be a differentiator for our partners. It gives them something higher margin to sell, along with that perimeter security firewall or that data security application or appliance. So the managed security service offering that Avnet's building, will run that ourselves and offer that through channel. Very excited about that. The last area that's a high priority for me this year that I'm very excited about is our emerging supplier recruitment program. You know, historically, Avnet has taken a little bit of a different approach than some of the other distributors. We have gone what I'll call narrow and deep with suppliers. So when we pick a supplier, we have invested significantly in them. Demand gen programs for our partners. We've built training and enablement for the channel in vertical ways. But I think there's a need in these emerging technology spaces like security, like cloud, like analytics, for us to invest in not startups per se, because they probably don't have a large enough channel, but certainly those companies who are over the hump, past the startup phase, and starting to develop a channel, and that are emerging technologies, behavioral analytics and security, very, very big area. That identity and access management area I talked about earlier. We want to invest in suppliers that might be considered a little smaller from an Avnet historical perspective, that we think have great growth potential and fill a great gap for our partners in Canada.
Perfect. Alex, thanks for taking the time and taking us on this tour of the security and networking business.
Thank you very much for the time, Rob.